Welcome back to another episode of Stand on Guard. I'm your host, David Krayden, broadcasting live Friday evening. Here it is, 6 o'clock. It's been a long day at the Ottawa Provincial Courthouse. And breaking news about Universal Ostrich Farms. We'll have all of that in mere moments.
The Prime Minister lied and his minions continue to lie.
Your home is your castle. We're calling on the government to introduce and immediately pass the Stand on Guard law.
But we also need to resolve to resist.
Please like the station any way you can. Subscribe. Help us financially. We appreciate your help, and it's much appreciated. Yes. So 10 o'clock this morning, I arrive in the Ottawa Provincial Courthouse. And this, of course, is the, shall we say, the sentencing hearing for Chris Barber and Big Red, his truck. I've never been to a sentencing hearing for a truck before, but I've never known a provincial government or a crown that is so vindictive, so punitive, it wants to steal the truck from somebody who was convicted on mischief charges. When's the last time they confiscated a vehicle from a rapist, a drug dealer, a murderer? Huh? I can't think of a single instance. But this Crown in Ontario has got the gall to suggest that Big Red, the truck, and here's my friend Chris Barber standing next to Big Red. What a man of courage. And he was there, of course, all day remotely. He's going to have to come to town again on October 7th, at least, for his sentencing hearing. But here's what amazes me, folks. They couldn't even get the business done today. They're coming back on September 25th for a second day of a hearing for Big Red to see if the provincial government can expropriate or otherwise steal Chris Barber's livelihood. Now, why is it it's his livelihood? And here's why. Oh, sorry. Here's why. This is Chris Barber's other truck on the left of this picture. On September 2nd, his son Jonathan barely escaped death, apparently, and was able to prevent serious injury when this truck came in contact with a farm vehicle on the road. Apparently, it was not Jonathan Barber's fault, but it caused tremendous damage to the front end. And as Chris Barber's lawyer explained today, this truck on the left, which one of the lawyers decided to call Big White, was financed with the collateral of Big Red. So take away Big Red from Chris Barber, and he's down with a truck that needs massive repairs. Now, there's some question about whether or not the insurance is going to come through. And quickly, you know how insurance companies are. It's the Saskatchewan Insurance Corporation that's looking after this. So anyway, Brendan Miller was the lawyer on tap today to talk about all this. So I want to go to X right now to bring you up to speed on what was happening, because this is how we get to the bottom of this stuff. Now, Tamara Leach posted a lot of this stuff this afternoon. And why are they so adamant on going after Chris Barber? Because I tell you, I sat there and I wondered, I'll get this to a separate. Let's just go through. You know, well, here's Tamara Leach's post. Today in court, Brendan Miller is representing Chris Barber, his family, his son, and his parents, who are the legal owners of Big Red, after securing only 3 convictions out of 13. And 3 years after the Freedom Convoy, the prosecution office took it upon themselves to make an application for forfeiture of his Canadian symbol of hope. In doing so, they dragged his family into this. After being challenged on several issues with their application, some regarding jurisdiction, the Crown suggested that then perhaps they would head to Saskatchewan and pursue other legal avenues to obtain and destroy Big Red, should Her Honor rule in favor of today's summary dismissal application. Well, as it is, that didn't happen today. We're coming back on September 25th, and presumably at that time, Her Honor Justice Heather Perkins McVeigh, who of course we've reported on quite extensively on this station, will make a decision about that. And of course, the last witness of the day was the Crown brought in Detective Carrie Lonan of the OPS, Ottawa Police Service Provincial Asset Forfeiture Unit, this afternoon to testify about the hearing. Now, as Brendan Miller pointed out, it's very rare, if not unheard of, to ask for the forfeiture of property from somebody convicted of a crime, unless there was also seizure of that property prior to an application of forfeiture being issued. Now, you get me here. This is very, very unusual. And it shows you how vindictive this Crown is. And I sat there listening to them describe Chris Barber like he was a commodity. And I watched the slideshow from the Crown Counsel and Radcliffe. And it was embarrassing, at the same time heart-wrenching, because he showed pictures of Chris Barber with Tamara Leach beside Big Red. And did he not even see the irony of that? This is a man who loves his family and friends, who works hard for a living, and they want to punish him for that. They want to destroy his life. This is how sick justice is in Canada. And I sat there wondering, what in hell is wrong with these people? They don't seem to understand how incredibly nauseous this all is. And I tell you, I was wondering at times. I talked to people in the lobby, in the foyer, and I said, "Do you feel like you're in an insane asylum at times? That people are talking about this like this? It's no big deal. So we're taking away somebody's truck, and well, he'll find a way to survive. And they want to put Chris Barber in jail for 8 years and Tamara Leach in jail for 7 years. And you have to ask yourself, why? What motivates these people? What motivates these people to even think there's anything at all just about this? And all I can say is that I'm at my wit's end to understand why anybody would want to do this to Chris Barber. And I spoke at length to people today, and I can tell you, it's extremely tragic. And here's the story I want to get to. This was just sent to me this afternoon by my good friend Katie Passatney, and and it's incredible to me that the Supreme Court has denied their appeal. And we're going to have a look at this document here in a second. I want to bring this up to the screen here. All right. There we go. Yeah. All right, just having a little. There we go. Here's Katie. Thank goodness. Oh, Katie, thank you so much.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't.
Um,
Okay, my mic is on. Are you not?
um,
It's we're coming through as far as I can tell with the. Oh, here we go. Well, let's. Sorry, we're having some technical issues here, and I'm not sure why. But I could hear Katie. She couldn't hear me. But I want to. Okay.
okay,
Is that
we
better?
have. Yeah, I got you now.
Okay, great.
Hi.
Thanks so much. This must be a very difficult afternoon for you, Katie. And
Oh,
you were kind enough to send me this document. I went through it very quickly. Uh, I have to say that I'm not entirely surprised that the Supreme Court of Canada right now would not bother doing their job with this. And as we discussed before we went on the air here, I think one of the options for you would be a ministerial
so
inquiry into
we
this.
did. So we did apply for that, and they're saying that we didn't. We improperly went about our actions filing for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So pressure has to be put on this minister. There's no
Yeah.
question about that. And the
Yeah.
ag minister needs to know that Canadians are not happy about this.
Everybody, this is our, this is our constitutional rights are under attack here. We should be having a remaining emergency stay order in place until we are allowed the due process of applying for Supreme Court. It shouldn't be an open call order so that they can come in whenever they want while we apply for the leave of the Supreme Court. But right now, the way that it looks is that in our last order, they also put out that they can continue to prepare for the call while we were waiting for this. Nothing makes sense. These animals are 241 days healthy. They came out with a new theory, or that they said that they were running more tests on the 2 PCR tests that they took from these ostriches in December. And that says that we have a new type of strain of H5N1 that is even more deadly. But then, I'm going to put that back at them. And like I said, well, thank you, because doesn't that make these animals even more valuable? Because these animals have been 241 days healthy, and these animals have the key to humanity. They have the key to healing viruses and disease in the future. And if they are carrying the antibodies for what they say they tested, then they're even more valuable because they have the ability to heal animals and humans with their antibodies. They are not talking about natural immunity. Somehow natural immunity got lost here. But what we're protecting is international bodies that are non-elected governing bodies, and we're protecting international trade. And they make it very clear that they are protecting the Poultry Association. Don't cattle farmers and dairy farmers and pig farmers, don't we all deserve the same protection?
Well, precisely. I briefly put up this article here that I read the other day, and I sent you, and I've sent it to Viva Fry as well, because here's another hit piece, this time from Canadian Press via CBC. And I read this very carefully, and this is, the work of this deputy chief veterinarian at the Food Agency, Kathy Furness.
Yeah.
And she says, here's the key line in the story for me. It says, but Furness says the CFIA doesn't know how likely it is that the ostriches at the Edgewood, BC farm remain infected or will become infected. And why is that, Katie? Because they
won't test them.
So to me, here they are playing both sides of the road, suggesting that, oh, it was really bad last November, December, but
Mhm.
I wonder what it's like now. But they don't give it away. Why
No,
don't we know? They won't test, and they won't let you test at the
no.
risk of $200,000 fine a bird and 6 months in jail for a
Yeah,
bird. And this to me is just beyond the pale in terms of
yeah,
uh, it's almost cynicism, government cynicism that
yeah,
they not only lie, but they lie by omission, by not telling the whole story. And of course,
yeah,
the CBC, Canada Press, Global, other stations have been making this into a story about how the
mhm,
mainstream media, how the state media backs up the government every
yeah,
time. So
yeah,
I'm laying down the gauntlet tonight and saying, okay, Supreme Court, you don't want to hear this case. Minister, start listening as people come through. And the Minister of Agriculture in Canada is Heath MacDonald. You can reach him. We'll have the information in the description how you can reach Heath MacDonald. Tell Heath MacDonald to take care of his department, to be a man, to do something about what's going on here. And this is a completely irresponsible decision. And this is what it comes down to, Katie, is the people against an authoritarian government. And I think you've got to keep fighting. I'm going to keep
it is.
fighting. And uh, you were on Redacted recently. And I have to
Yeah,
tell you, Clayton Morris, I guess it was over the weekend or Friday, he said, I talked to Tucker about this story. He says, I can't guarantee he's going to do anything with it, but he's very interested. I'm going to make sure he's aware of this tonight, of
yeah,
what's
please.
going on here, because
We're
we've got to
running out.
keep getting.
We're running out of time. We're running out of time,
Yeah.
and they just keep moving the goalpost. Like I said, it was trading partner policies. We brought our largest trading partner forward, saying stop, we'll collaborate, offering the FDA, the NIH, and they even offered testing. So then they moved it to we had a novel reassortment. Then they moved it from novel reassortment back to trading partners. Now we're back to we have one of the most the deadliest strains of H5N1 here, still with no testing, just off the two PCR tests in December. And then now we're back, it's to trading partner policies and protecting the trade and the commercial poultry associations. Our poultry association, I mean, I have high regard and everything for them, but again, they shouldn't be above everybody, especially when we have a commercial animal behind me that is nobody is ingesting, and they are under quarantine. They are not flying anywhere like our migratory birds are, and they offer such opportunity for Canadians and on a global scale, and they're offering antibodies which exist. They've developed a firewall, just like you, David, just like me. We have firewalls. They're called antibodies. You get sick, you build up antibodies. You don't get sick anymore. You don't shed indefinitely. We have to really, really, really reframe the way we think, because it's dangerous. It is really dangerous if we start to believe that this is actually the way it is. And this is a time where Canada has to rise up. We need to rise up and protect our agricultural sector, just like they went after the truckers, they went after our healthcare workers, and now we are at our farmers. And that's your food. They're not for food, but this is also our food. They're steamrolling our farmers at a rapid pace, and we need to protect them.
Couldn't agree more. This government, whether it's been under Justin Trudeau or Mark Carney, has been persecuting farmers for the last decade. They can't use fertilizer. The regulations are so high. I've had Jerry Ritz, the former Minister of Agriculture, on this show several times to talk about just how bad it is for farmers. And of course, Jerry actually was a farmer before he was a member of Parliament, before he was the Minister of Agriculture for quite some years under Stephen Harper. And he has told me how bad it's gotten for farmers. But this is taking it to that next level, though, isn't it? To
Oh,
not only stopping you from producing, but taking your livestock.
Yeah, taking your property rights, your animals, restricting you testing and to treat without fines and jail time. They're taking away our rights to proper our judicial process, putting us in that vulnerable state of that they can come in and kill all these animals without us even having a chance to apply for the leave of Supreme Court. This is a really big problem. And we really have to identify that Canada's not making Canadians' decisions anymore. Our provincial, on a provincial level, on a federal level, we aren't making those decisions. It's smoke and mirrors. It is unelected governing bodies like the United Nations, World Health Organization, the World Animal Health Organization, and the One Health Agenda. And we need to tie this all into a nice little present, because it all gets unwrapped the same way. And it doesn't look good for Canadians if we don't stand up right now.
No, it looks very bad for Canadians. I can't tell you how many people came up to me today when I was at the Ottawa Provincial Court and said, "Keep fighting for those ostriches, and keep fighting for Katie. She's so courageous. She's such a brave woman." I said, "Yes, she is. She's a very courageous, brave woman, and so is everybody on that farm. And they put up with so much BS, so much unnecessary force from an authoritarian government. So
Could have
much
just
pushback." But
tested them. Test them. Just test them. And you want to know why they don't want to test them? Because they're all going to come back negative.
Well, that's exactly it. And I think it was Natalie Morris, when you're on Redacted, said, "Well, how stupid are Canadians?" Well, obviously, this is why the government doesn't want them tested, because it's going to prove you're right. And I tell you, it was incredible. But we had so many weird moments in this trial today. I don't know how to describe it, because I've never been at a trial for a truck, but or a sentencing hearing for a truck. This is how bizarre the Chris Barber case has become, because we were supposed to get through all of this today with the judge potentially making a decision on whether to proceed on the Doug Ford government stealing, and I'm not going to say expropriating, I'm not going to say taking, I'm going to say stealing Chris Barber's truck, stealing his livelihood, and he is literally down to that one truck now for his livelihood, because his other truck, it was smashed in a very bizarre accident that was not his son's fault. But I'm thinking, where is this country going, where we've got crown prosecutors? Yes, let's have a look here. There they are. There they are. Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry. It is what a crazy government. What I think they stand as beacons of hope. They really are beacons of hope for every Canadian citizen, because if we can do this here on this farm, this policy is coming to a farm near you, and that's all we've been fighting for, was this policy to get changed. It wasn't about setting a new precedent that was going to make it dangerous. It is about making that policy right and protecting our farmers, protecting Canadians, protecting our food sovereignty, protecting our sovereignty, our food security, giving farmers back the rights. And we're losing that with, they're talking about registering seeds, and you have to register a garden. And do we not see where this is going? This is, it's 9 months ago, I was red-pilled. Have I ever been red-pilled? And I would have never probably believed this 9 months ago. So if you are in that position and you can't believe it today, I need you to believe it, because we've been 9 months fighting something that could have been done in a week. And we could have tested these animals and had them deemed clear, saved millions of dollars of taxpayer money. And we could have just restored the trust within Canadians that's been eroded between the organizations and the farmers that are fighting for our food security.
Yeah. And as I pointed out several times, not only today, but throughout this battle, and I think you mentioned it during our first conversation, the similarity, the incredible similarity between what you're going through and what Chris Barber is going through. And here we are today. This was when we had the hearing for Big Red. Same day you get the note from the Supreme Court saying that the appeal is denied. So I think there's a interesting serendipity here. There's an interesting coexistence of tyranny on two levels, because here we have like a trucker who's his livelihood has been invaded. And what I kept saying to people today, I said, people in the US are extremely interested in this case and in the ostrich case. And I said, you know why? Because it sets a dangerous precedent for everybody. In your case, it means the government can invade your property, can steal your livelihood, take your livelihood, steal your livestock, and kill it. In Chris Barber's case, it means that if we are protesting against the government and we're convicted of a mischief charge, the government can come take our house away, can take our
Yeah.
car away, because it's all about being vindictive. And if
Yeah.
people can get that it's not just about Katie, it's not just about your farm, it's not just about Chris Barber or Tamara Leach, it's not just
No.
about David Krayden, it's about everybody who loves freedom in this country and who doesn't want the government telling them how to live, what they can do for a living,
Yeah.
that they own their property, that there's a
Yeah.
sacred right to that. And
Yeah.
people are finally, I think, coming around to how important your story is, just as they finally come around to realizing that crucifying Chris Barber means everybody is going to get it in the end if you don't
And
go with the narrative. And
we live in a country where you can go and commit crimes and $5,000 or less, I believe it is, and you walk free the same day. And here we are, fighting for our rights and our property rights and our animals and our livelihoods and innovative science that could change. You could put Canada on the map, and for actually helping protect and heal the world. And we're the ones being persecuted. We're the ones, being dragged through the mud. And we have a real problem when we protect the true criminals, and the ones that are fighting for our freedom, and the ones that are fighting for food and to provide food for generations to come are the ones that are actually being persecuted. This is it's flopped. It's been a real flip-flop situation, and there's no better time than now, Canada. Like, this is it. This is where we all need to rise up and do what's right peacefully. I'm not inciting anything. This is all about peace, unity, coming together with our voices. The court of the public opinion matters. David, you do such an amazing job at that. Allowing people's voices to be heard. You do such a great job at vocalizing the daily issues and the issues that are happening. And so we just need to continue with that, because without our voices, we've got nothing.
well, that's precisely it. And I talked about this article yesterday from Canada Post on the show, and it's amazing. I had so many comments from people who said, "This is science. This is supposedly science." And one of my viewers said, she sent an email to Kathy Furness to say, "Please provide us with exact details, including pictures of dark field microscopy from your laboratory analysis. We are in particular interest in the visual isolation and purification of molecules you were describing as avian influenza virus. We need the exact scientific steps taken in respect to prove the causation of symptoms described as avian flu. Please send this critical information to us without delay. We will conduct a thorough investigation into your work." So people aren't buying this, and they're saying, "We know this is a smokescreen. We know this is all camouflage," and it's good to see people are starting to think, at least. And I want to encourage you tonight. It's been a long day for me. I'm exhausted from listening to crap all day. And I tell you, I said this afternoon after the first hour and a half of this hearing, I said, I feel like I'm in an insane asylum, and the inmates are all talking, because they don't even seem to realize they're talking about human beings anymore who are being subject to their ridiculous decrees. And they can't even see how nonsensical and ludicrous this whole process has become. 2 years now and a week of a mischief trial, and it's still going on, and might be over in October. They keep promising that, but 8 years for protest, 7 years for Tamara Leach. It's absolutely outrageous. And
I just
there
learned
has
through
been,
this that, I just learned through this that mischief has now become a hybrid charge. Do you know about that? Like that, I guess they can basically, it's a hybrid charge, so they can kind of make it whatever they want it to be. You can get as much time as they want you to have, and they can make a precedence out you as however badly they want to. And that was told to us by some RCMP that came here and let us know that if we stand in the way, or we whatever, or if we're just in the way at all, we will be arrested and removed from our property for them to carry out their work.
Yeah, I think Mischief has become the Canadian equivalent of what in the Soviet Union used to be called a crime against the state, or in some cases, wrecking. Wrecking meant anybody who sabotaged a government facility installation, and there were literally hundreds of thousands of people who were accused of wrecking sent to gulags. Hundreds of thousands, millions of people with crimes against the state sent to gulags. And I'm never sure where we are in this country because we're on a slippery slope. And as you say, they keep moving the goalposts on us.
That's all
And
they
so
do.
mischief used to be something that occurred at a wedding party, and where you had people got a bit drunk and they started throwing food at each other. And
Yeah.
maybe it could be, maybe it became a mischief charge. Maybe it became the police coming and saying, "Okay, settle down." But if it was a mischief charge, it was settled outside of court. But here we go with 2 years and a week for a mischief charge, and now they want to take his truck away. And I'm just,
Yeah.
I can't tell you how fed up I am listening to these lawyers who don't even seem to understand the basics of freedom in this country.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
lawyers
No.
forget what freedom is, we're in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we got a good one. He's fighting for us hard. He's trying everything and he's throwing the kitchen sink at it. But we are under a really odd timeline. They've, just like you said, they keep moving the goalpost and they just keep cherry picking out of their own policy what's going to suit them at a time that it's necessary. And so that policy, it's a very dangerous policy. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency operates with excessive freedom and no accountability. Could you imagine if we let our kids do that? Could now imagine having a government organization that has endless money and can continue to do that and operate with excessive freedom and never have any accountability. They failed their audits in 2018, 2021. They failed their own audits. Their mandate, they are supposed to review and be accepting of new scientific information and work with veterinarians, and they should be open to that. But unfortunately, what we heard their mandate is to quarantine, test, kill, compensate. That's their mandate. So that's another very scary problem. But I mean, we haven't even been tested, right? We had 2 ostriches at the very beginning of this in December that were tested. None of these ostriches that are on this farm, 241 days healthy, have ever been tested. And we could just end this by testing them and just prove to the world that they are healthy. We did test their egg yolk. There was egg yolk from years prior. And what that showed us was it was exactly what we thought was going to happen. The ostriches that were on our farm that never had any symptoms, there was no sickness and there was no deaths. Their egg yolk from years ago showed that they have H5N1 antibodies. The ostriches that have been here 2020 after, they are the ostriches that had to go through their immunity building. They had to gain herd immunity and develop their antibodies. And now we're here and they have them. And they pose way more of a firewall alive on this property than by killing them all. And because when you have young animals here that are still exposed to migratory birds, they still are going to contract whatever it is from the migratory ducks, and but they have no immunity. So we have ostriches that actually have a developed firewall to H5N1, and they're going to be murdered because they have antibodies. It doesn't even make any sense. You're right. It's a Canada that doesn't really feel. It's not broken. I keep saying it's fractured, and we all just need to take our piece in this, and we need to rise up, and we need to stand up, and we need to have our voices heard, and we need to heal our country because it's a beautiful country and we're beautiful people, and we have a lot going for us in Canada, and we need to protect it.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell everybody watching tonight. It's not my usual time slot, but I'm going to be saying this every day that I need to say it. Email, phone, telegram. do whatever you need to tell the ag minister that you're aware of this issue, you're not happy, and you know what the government is up to. Like the BC health authorities, they just amaze me. They just loved COVID because it allowed them to lock down people in that province, to tell them when they could wear masks, how they had to wear masks. They had to stand 6 feet away from everybody, couldn't
Mhm.
go here, might be able to go there. And they were little petty dictators. And when I was seeing the other day that they killed 8 million chickens in the province of
Mhm.
BC, I'm thinking, well, maybe it's got something to do with the fact that the World Health or the World Economic
Animal.
Forum
Yeah.
wants us to eat insects because there won't be
Yeah.
anything left. And I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you, there's been these stories that once again, because my background is not just journalism, it's communications in the military and Parliament Hill. And I know how these people work. And I know how CBC works and how these other state broadcasters work. And they look for division. They try to find
Mhm.
people who are opposed to what you're doing or to
Yeah.
blow that up. And so I've seen these stories about neighboring farms saying, oh, they're so concerned about this
Mhm.
outbreak. Why are they so concerned now in September when apparently they weren't so concerned when the outbreak was actually occurring? So
Yeah.
do you see this as just deliberately fomenting fictitious protests? Are these people, are your neighbors really upset about this?
There's some that are because they don't understand the facts. They don't understand the government has the way of promoting fear in people. And we need to remember this as Canadians. When you watch mainstream media and you're listening to their stuff, this is their goal. Division and divide and conquer is one of the oldest tools in the toolbox. While we are busy fighting against each other, they are getting away with whatever they want in the background. And we need to stop the division and to come together and see what's really real. We've offered the education, we've offered the scientific data and the reports. Our expert witness reports have been held back. They have been stricken from records. I'm starting to put out our expert witness reports on Facebook and other media outlets because I think it's time that the court of the public opinion really takes hold and starts to review these expert witness reports themselves and see how much due diligence we've actually done. We have top virologists, top epidemiologists, top immunologists that have all been part of our team here, and they have the proof that these animals are very healthy. Natural immunity exists. They have antibodies. Those antibodies can help humanity, and we're just about to kill it all. Once these heartbeats stop, we don't get them back. So this could become, like I said, one of the biggest mistakes in Canadian history we ever make. And we could stop the mistake from being ever happening by coming together. Canadian Food Inspection Agency, if we were such a viral threat, they have not been on our premises for over 6 months. So you tell me if they were worried about our quarantine measures and if they were worried about the virus, that they should be here and they should be doing soil samples, they should be doing water samples. Why is it that they are so upset about us not doing the quarantine measures that they say that we're not doing, but they're not here to inspect? Why am I and my family, doing chores, and then I could go to the store? I can go to the store today. There's nothing adds up, and that is, I think, what's making sense to a lot of Canadians. Is nothing of this story makes sense, and I think where we make the most sense is that this just isn't right. If we can't test our own animals without 6 months in jail, almost a $200,000 fine, we have a big problem. This all could have just been put to bed by just testing these animals, and it still can be. These animals still need to be tested, and
Yeah.
and that's what we're fighting for here. Is the world is watching. The world's going to continue to watch what happens at Universal Ostrich Farms, and no other farm should ever have to go through what we're going through. There's no compensation amount that will ever equal the lives that we have behind us. And I just need to stay strong. I get really angry about it, but it's really opened my eyes, and I'm going to continue to yell from the mountaintops that we need to stand up. Rise up, Canada. This is our time.
You've still got people there camping out, showing their
Uh,
visible support, do you?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that.
We're calling on
And
more, though.
I hope Rebel News drops in again, and Viva Fry has done a tremendous job in this. I can't wait
Yeah.
to come out and see you, and I want to see this farm, and I want to tell people, if you miss the Freedom Convoy, if you miss that excitement of freedom, if you miss the fact that people were coming together and realizing the government was not our friend, the government was coming against it, but we could push back, and the people's will could prevail. This is where it's happening right now, folks. This is where it's happening at Universal Ostrich Farms. This is the new Freedom Convoy. No truckers in sight right now, but maybe there will be. Maybe we'll get that going as well. And Katie, I don't want that too much more of your time, because I know you've got a lot to deal with right now. But
no, thanks, David.
All I can say is God bless you, and I'm sending you my prayers, my love, and all the support I can possibly muster. And I'm going to spend this weekend doing as much as I can on this file, getting the word out, not just to viewers, not just to other media that are inclined to report, but strategically to people who could make a difference. Because I've been in this business a long time, and there's very few issues that I completely embrace and say, I just want the story to get out, and I'll do whatever I can. How many hours a day, I don't care. How many shows I have to do, I don't care. But I love these people. I want this issue to get full airing, and this is one of those issues, Katie. So we're with you, and we'll keep in touch.
Sounds good. God bless you, and thank you for your time, David, and thank you for your voice.
Okay, never give up, Katie.
Okay.
Never give up.
No, we won't.
We'll be talking. So
okay, sounds good.
We'll
Lots of
talk
love.
again soon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That was Katie Passanay of the Universal Ostrich Farms. What a courageous woman. What a fighter. She is doing everything in her power to save the ostriches, but not only the ostriches, but to save our freedom from government intrusion, from a government that thinks it can destroy your property, invade your property, take over your vehicles, take over your house, destroy your livelihood. And this is why I say Chris Barber and Katie Passanay, they share the same issue right now. And that's the government telling them that they are in control and they won't let you work or maintain your livelihood anymore. The government wants to destroy you. And that's why I'm in Katie's corner, and I'll remain so. Wow. Didn't think we'd get 45 minutes out of the show. I almost did today. We will be back tomorrow. And guess who's on tomorrow? Jeffrey Rath of the Alberta Prosperity Project. He called me early this morning to say, hey, we had a meeting with the Parti Québécois, and the Parti Québécois has agreed to support Alberta independence and is not expecting Alberta to provide any more equalization payments. Jeff will be on the show tomorrow to describe that meeting and exactly what that entails. Thank you so much for watching today. It's been a long day. God bless you. Godspeed to all of you. Keep the Universal Ostrich Farms in your prayers, and email, mail, telegram if you need to. Text Heath McDonald, Minister of Agriculture in Ottawa. Thanks for watching today. Bye for